Brew, your reaction?
Steve Smith's right on the money because George Pickens has number one talent, number one attitude.
Ego.
He was the number one guy in Pittsburgh his whole career, short, but still was number one. Number one self-image, all of that. And he's not going to get number one targets. And probably not from Dallas going to get number one money. So, yeah, I think this is potentially a huge problem. That's why I gave it a B. He is talented. There's a good receiving core on paper. But the possible problems and the fact that Mike Tomlin, who's handled guys terrifically, is like he's got to grow up and then apparently felt like he didn't grow up enough and sent him packing. Yeah, that's a real concern in Dallas.
Yeah, and I go ahead, Wallace.
No, go.
I don't think it is as much of a needle mover as I think the general public does, which is why I did these receiver rankings, the receiver duos. So I did the top 8 wide receiver duos. That's a quarter of the league, not a random number. And I have Pickens and Lamb coming in at 8. So, and that is.
That's a good list.
And so I don't know if we can show number 8, the Pickens and Lamb. And here's the deal. There's a lot of guys who could be the number 2 next to CeeDee Lamb, and they're going to find themselves in this top 8. You know what? So, like, I didn't put the Lions in here. Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Jameson Williams. I think Jameson Williams, he has different kind of issues or whatever, but I think he's better than George Pickens, or at least as good. I would have that. My point is, you put him there. I'm trying to think of guys that didn't make it. There's just a long list of guys who have. This duo, the lion's share of the work is being done by CeeDee Lamb. As long as they have a competent number 2, the duo is going to be super strong.
Where do you feel? So, I feel Pickens is wildly talented. Like, could be a number 1 guy, but the problems are his attitude. You seem to not even think he's a number 1 talent.
No, I think he is a number 1 talent. But I think that he doesn't, to me, have what I would call like off-field problems. His problems manifest themselves on the field,
right.
On the sideline, in the game, personal foul penalties, like those types of things that I think hurt his team. So I would have them behind all these 7. Number 7, McLaurin and Debo. Terry McLaurin has been very productive throughout his career despite not having great quarterback play, and then got great quarterback play with Jaden. Debo, obviously, now we'll see if Debo struggles, bounce back year, but I think it's a duo that fits together. Number 6, betting that Godwin comes back to his pre-injury form. Last year, he was having the best year of his career, before the injury. Mike Evans got hurt and still had a 1,000-yard season. I've seen them do it. That's the one that was, to me, the hardest to rank because of the injury concern for Godwin.
You got like 2 guys that are brand new and 1 duo that's established.
Yeah. All right, number 5, Puka and Devontae. I think that Puka is underrated still.
Yeah. And
I think Devontae as a number 2 in the Sean McVay offense is going to be good. I thought he and Aaron, oddly, were not on the same page as much as you would expect right when they got together. But I also like how they fit. And I think Puka there is a bit of what Brew accuses me correctly of doing with Brock Purdy, I think, done to Puka league-wide, which is draft position bias. If Puka Nacua was a first-round pick, people would say, people would say, why is he not one of a surefire top 5 receiver, but because we've kind of looked at him as an overachiever, that's where he is. And now you get to what I think are the really dominant ones. Number 4, Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. Even with Tyreek, what's up, Wiles? No, tell me.
I was just saying.
Really?
No, tell me.
The offense doesn't jump off the screen.
Well, their quarterback missed 6 games last year.
Okay.
I'm not trying to get in an argument. Is there a duo behind them?
It's tricky.
That you think's better?
I don't know. It's really interesting. I just don't know if and look, when everybody was healthy, Tua did have the number 1 offense. Maybe I'm just more sour about even when Tua was on the field, that offense wasn't just flying
No,
around.
it wasn't.
Like
but
I took a step back.
And I think, it's certainly of the ones we've listed thus far, I think even you would agree, as a Tua guy, he's the worst quarterback of those 5. Dak, Jaden, Baker, Stafford.
It's a little tricky. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I even if Tyreek is still not a 99 overall on Madden, he's still excellent, obviously, and I think Jalen Waddle is actually one of the more underrated receivers. This one I think people might argue with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. So I think Addison is a good number 2, and Justin Jefferson is one of the greatest receivers I've ever seen in my life. And so that
it's based on Jefferson.
And if it was, again, it would be lower if Jordan Addison was replaced with just a random, you know what I mean? If he was out there number 3. But I think he's good, and I think Jefferson is a super-duper star. And then the top 2 are, I think, everyone's top 2. Number 2, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, which they have an argument that they're number 1. I don't think you get – I'd really like to see Devontae Smith as the number 1 receiver in an offense, and you might get to see it at some point, because I don't know if A.J. Brown's going to be a lifelong Eagle the rest of the way. But they complement each other well, and then obviously the number 1 is Chase and Higgins, where we thought we were done with them as a duo because we didn't think the Bengals were going to be able to keep them both. They were, and I mean, to me, the proof is in the pudding as far as what they've been able to produce.
I'm going to throw a couple. You mentioned Detroit. I'm going to throw 2 more that.
Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy? Rashee the injury is worried.
Here's one based on projection. Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter.
Oh, I like that.
If the quarterback can get them the football.
Oh, here Bruce trying to set the.
But I'm saying, but really, Brian Thomas had a great year.
I love
year
that.
without
I think
really,
that's a good,
and Trevor obviously missed a lot of games. So without really, yeah, he was fantastic. Yeah. And now Travis, and then the other one was, and I don't know if you're protecting your boy, DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. Again, a little bit of a projection.
A lot of projection.
That's, to me, a ton of projection. On
Odunze is I think, good.
Yeah, but
and obviously DJ Moore is.
Here's the.
Now, I like Thomas and Travis better, but I'm just saying.
The fact that they spent their second-round pick on
throw in
Luther Burden, but that also makes me wonder, do they think DJ Moore is expendable, or do they think Rome is not? Like, that to me was a surprising pick if you thought both of those guys were the guys we thought they were last year. I'm not trying to protect Caleb. It's just that was a interesting.
They should have a great
pick.
Passing game.
Oh, I totally agree, but I can't put.
I mean, that's a good list. I think Godwin, Evans, just the injury concern, bounce back. And Debo, is he going to be Debo?
Debo. Yeah, he's going to be. All right, moving on to the Tush Push. In April, the NFL owners pushed the decision around the Tush Push to May 20th in Minnesota, so that's coming up. We're going to get some clarity on if there's going to be a rule change. Saquon was asked about the Tush Push at the Met Gala and said, you know what? If you don't like it, get better at stopping it. As we get closer to a decision, should the league ban the Tush Push?
Only if it is a safety risk. And it's not, apparently. I mean, it looks like a safety risk. It feels like a safety risk. But the NFL has said no one's been injured from the Tush Push.
I don't know why the NFL said that, because I watched Chris Jones in the Super Bowl get injured.
But he played. I mean, he was banged up, but it was like.
And by the way, I don't think safety is the reason for it. But
just about that, did Chris Jones get hit, or because at one time somebody lined up perpendicular?
That was him.
Okay.
No, but
he kept playing.
No,
you're going to line up sideways.
If you got your bell rung or whatever,
you also can't jump over the line of scrimmage. But the Commanders guy tried to do it because they couldn't stop it. But go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think they should be, again, unless there's proof that you don't want guys getting hurt. But unless there's proof it's a safety risk, they should play, because other teams do it. Nobody like this as much as the Eagles. But Buffalo isn't that great at it. I mean, they were pretty good, but the Chiefs shut them down, right? And then Philly could do it against the Chiefs. So this is a thing Philly is excellent at, and no one's getting injured. I feel like it would kind of be like taking away one of their strengths for no reason.
So it would be taking away one of their strengths for no reason. except the reason is it looks terrible.
You say that.
Because
I'm not the only person that says that. Goodell said it. Goodell said it doesn't look like a football play. That it looks like a play out of rugby.
You've used your example of if you go down the field. Yeah, if teams really started doing it on second down, third, then I agree with you, it'd be a problem. But the level they're using it now, I don't think it's a problem. Do you think it's a problem now?
I think there's a number of things. I said when this came up in the offseason that I wanted them to ban it a year ago, and I would like them to ban it a year from now. I don't want Eagle fans to have in their back pocket for the rest of their lives, we don't want all the Super Bowls, but you guys banned. Like, I need the Eagles to not win a Super Bowl and then it get banned. I think it feels unfair is the wrong word, but just weird to ban it right as they're the defending champs. Like, I wouldn't love that. But here is the point about why I said Chris Jones got hurt on it. I don't think it's a safety risk. I don't. I think it's a quality of the game risk. And so I'm going to bring up something very, very dumb. You ever seen the Reddit post about the Warriors forming a circle around Steph?
Yes, I love it.
Okay. So,
you know this one, bro?
Will you
basically do like Ring Around the Rosie with Steph Curry. So like 4 guys hold hands around Steph Curry.
And
you just walk down the field like an amoeba.
Steph is just dribbling in the middle. They were like, why wouldn't the Warriors get 4 super strong centers, have them all hold their hands and do this, and then Steph will just have a clean look at a jump shot at all times. And so I understand that's dumb and that's not going to happen. I get that. But here's the point I'm making.
I like it, though.
I know you do.
You like that?
I like the concept.
He likes the concept.
That's not even realistic.
But hold on.
Before
So we all agree that when I read that, I'm like, okay, that probably wouldn't happen. Blah, blah. But if it did, the NBA the next day would just change a rule and say you can't do it. Because it would, and even though it would be like, wait a minute, everyone's allowed to do it. Why are we being penalized? Because we're the best at it, because we have the best shooter ever. And the answer would be, because that's not what people are buying tickets for. And the point that I have made is not just, Brew, that yes, if they got 4 yards every play, it's also this. One of the cooler things about modern football is teams going for it on 4th down a lot more than they used to because it's such a big play and it is suspenseful. And this is not that. This is, okay, just fine. And so
it's suspenseful with other teams.
But
that's the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is the Bills didn't get it.
Right. It was suspenseful when they didn't get it, and even before they didn't get it.
I understand that, and this is where I need the audience to either trust me or just check the archive. You guys can back me up on this. This was my take well before the Eagles won the Super Bowl. This is not about they would have beat the Chiefs in that Super Bowl with or without this play. I just think it is. I think that at some point there is what is best for the sport as a whole sometimes does trump what is best for one individial team.
But I don't know what ground you're standing on.
Why is this bad for the...
It's just a handful of people of like, we don't think it's good. Because Sirianni has maybe cut this off at the exit. Sirianni's quote, "It's an exciting play." It's really cool to hear some people talk about it this week and what they think about the excitement it brings to the game.
Because
he's knows going the whole other,
I think it's like,
I think it's exciting, you think it's boring. All right, let's meet in the middle, just keep it.
Yeah, I understand why Sirianni would be doing that. But does anybody think this is as exciting as seeing a team go for a regular 4th down?
Is it more exciting than like the Brady sneak that was also super effective?
The Brady sneak, though, was the Eagles used this play as many times in a season as Brady did the sneak in his career. And those numbers are rough. But, like the Brady sneak was inches on 4th down and sometimes 3rd down, but it was inches. This is anything less than 2 yards. They're doing it. And so, like, that's...
I thought the biggest argument against it was the playoff game with Washington. When the guy at the goal line is diving. If that starts happening, you got to ban it because it's just ridiculous.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.